usually if they like each other and they have this type of mutual interest to each other, they plan to meet soon, and they miss each other because they really enjoy the communication. You can share very different things, very different situations from your life, and you are sure in this case that you won't be judged. You will be understood, your emotions will be shared, and this person supports you fully. More people are ready to struggle with this cultural gap just to have this love in their lives. The closer they get, the people in their temper, the easier for them it will be to stay with each other for a longer time. Women are influenced a lot by your care, by your attention, by communication between you, and with the time this type of attraction can rise in your heart. Hello again, my dear subscriber. Thank you for following our channel, for following me. And today we discuss a new topic, or continue discussing the topic of compatibility in a couple. And today we talk more about chemistry, what it is, how to understand if you have it or not with your lady, and hence how to choose her according to this factor. Most of people, they understand chemistry like just personal attraction to each other, and compatibility as a couple sexually. But in fact it has much more sides, many other sides, and the first one that you have when you feel chemistry with a person is mutual interest. Hence you find each other interesting people to talk with, to enjoy time together. In most of the cases, such people have a common sense of humor, or they understand the jokes of each other, and they just enjoy talking with each other. They enjoy being next to each other, and usually if they like each other and they have this type of mutual interest to each other, they plan to meet soon, and they miss each other because they really enjoy the communication. Another sign of chemistry, another part of chemistry, of true chemistry, is the reciprocal candor. It means when you can talk with each other and you feel understood, you feel a lot of trust to each other, much trust. You can share very different things, very different situations from your life, and you are sure in this case that you won't be judged. You will be understood, your emotions will be shared, and this person supports you fully in all your feelings, in what you have experienced, and it's like full trust, I guess. And of course, when you meet girl on the first dates, you can't, in most of the cases, people can't feel this part, reciprocal candor, to the maximum, because they want to know each other better before being like this. But anyway, during these 1-2 meetings, you can feel if you are ready to open your soul for the other person more or not. So it's one more sign for you if you should follow, if you should continue relationships or not. Because as you know, without trust, relationships are not possible, even at work, even in business, in family, it's even moreover. So pay attention to how you feel next to this person, if you are ready to trust, if you are ready to tell about different things from your life, and that you feel you will be supported. The other factor of chemistry between people is personableness. It's being attentive to each other. It's being consideration about the other person, being kind, genuine, open-minded. I think it's useful. Actually, these traits are useful for any relationship, in different situations. But if a man and woman have it to each other when they meet, and if they are like this, just as a personality type, it's useful for relationships. And of course, such people can't stay lonely for many years, because they will always find someone who they will like and who will like them, because attentive and caring people attractive for many others. So developing these traits in yourself is useful. Moreover, if you have it in your couple, it's a big sign of success. The fourth factor of chemistry is intimacy. It's like a blend of reciprocal candor and personableness, when you can talk about everything, when you can trust each other to the fullest, and you can share very intimate things. And of course, it's also about physical intimacy, where again you feel understood, when you feel accepted and supported at any rate. The fifth point of chemistry is your similarity. I have talked a lot about it in my previous videos when we discussed the topics of age gap, when we talked about cultural gap and so on. Of course, if we talk about international marriages, there will be always some cultural gap, but if we talk about marriage between European men or American men and Ukrainian women, it is still less than a cultural gap with between our women and men from Asia, for example, or Arab countries. At the same time, it's quite possible to overcome it, and many international couples already proved it, and the amount of international couples in the world is growing. You know, thanks to this COVID situation, this online dating became even more active. Even more people joined dating sites, applications for talking, for finding a life partner. Hence, we have more international marriages, and more people are ready to struggle with this cultural gap, just to have this love in their lives. Similarity is also about the common views on life, the same understanding of processes of life, the same vision of your future, and the same goals. So the more and more in common you have, the better it is for you. Of course, there is nothing perfect in our world, and it would be amazing to find a couple who have all these things present in their relationships, that I just described, to 100%. I think it's impossible. But as much as you have more in common, then you have more success for lifelong relationships or for long marriage. So when you date a girl, during the first date, you can already understand how much in common you have, how much similar you are. I think even about temper, it's better when people are of a closer temper, because again, if one partner is too active while the other is too calm, and there is a big difference between these two extremes, it will be quite difficult in such a couple to even to communicate. But the closer they get, the people in their temper, the easier for them it will be to stay with each other for a longer time. And of course, final part of chemistry is physical attraction, when you are considering your partner sexually attractive for you, and you feel a lot of it. Usually people can understand it during the first dates, especially men. If a woman is quite pretty, they are usually attracted. But for women it usually takes more time, because attraction is a lot formed for her by your attitude to her. Of course, I don't talk about the cases, extremes again, when there is a very big guy who doesn't look after himself, who doesn't care about his neatness and so on. Of course, if he displays perfect attitude to her, most probably she wouldn't find him sexually attractive. But if you talk about middle average type of girls and men, girls usually need time and to see your attitude to them to feel this type of attraction. But again, women are all different. Sometimes they can say that they are hugely attracted to you on the first date. There are different situations, but according to my practice in marriage agency, I see that women are influenced a lot by your care, by your attention, by communication between you, and with the time this type of attraction can rise in your heart. So there are 6 parts of chemistry, and when you go to a date or dates, give second chance for sure to your couple, because sometimes I face this situation in my practice when people meet just once, both girls and men, and say, oh, I don't feel this spark. It doesn't matter to me further. But you know, one date is usually not enough to understand the person. Sometimes people feel shy on the first date. Sometimes it's very unusual for them to meet this way. Some clients are coming using this service for the first time, and they can feel a little bit uncomfortable with it. So on the first date, it's not so obvious if you have future for relationships with this woman or not. So usually I advise clients to give even themselves a second chance and to meet again, to see more person, to see what you have in common. And I also had many stories from girls when on the first days and date they didn't like a man, but later when they started to communicate, girl found out he was an amazing person, and the relationship started. So as you can see, chemistry is not also only about sexual attraction or just physical attraction. It's much deeper. It includes many points, and to understand all of them one date, it's not enough for sure. As usually, I ask you to write me your questions, to leave comments. Of course, don't forget to subscribe our channel if you are here for the first time, and put a like to this video if you really liked it. I see you soon in my next videos. I will read your comments, and let's talk. And on Wednesdays we continue making live streams at 8 Kiev time, 8 p.m. So join us when you can, and we will talk in a live manner. Have a nice day, and talk to you soon.